I'm going to end the video with this article from a couple of weeks ago. This is from Bank Track. Stop the money pipeline. Private banks owning oil companies is a recipe for disaster. Do you think so? The news that major U.S. banks like JP Chase are preparing to ask regulators to allow them to take direct ownership of oil and gas companies should ring major alarm bells on Capitol Hill and across the nation, according to organizations with Stop the Money Pipeline Coalition. On Thursday evening, Reuters reported that JP Chase and Company, Wells Fargo and Company, Bank of America Corp., and Citigroup, Inc. are each preparing to set up independent companies that could directly own oil and gas assets. So Chase and Wells Fargo want to cut out the middleman and go into the oil business. Oh boy, directly destroying the climate. Greed does weird things to your mind and your heart, said our old friend Bill McKibben, co-founder of 350.org. I'm glad to see him speaking out against this. That's actually completely and totally respectable. These plans are in direct contradiction to the bank's stated goals of addressing the climate emergency. The only possible justification for taking an ownership stake in an oil and gas company would be to immediately begin winding down production and retiring existing assets, while taking care of workers by providing full benefits and pension guarantees. According to the Reuters reporting, however, banks seem to be planning to do just the opposite, attempting to move the companies back into profitability, likely by taking advantage of federal bailout money that would go to working families. Of course, they will. This is like a bookie purchasing the track, only the track is a dying industry killing our chance at a future. Clearly, these banks' climate commitments aren't worth the recycled paper they are written on, says Tara Huska, Kuchiching First Nation, founder of Gineu Collective. It's our money in their vaults. Hitting withdrawal is long overdue. There is little reason to believe that the four banks mentioned in the article have any intention of mitigating the climate impact of their actions. JP Chase, Wells Fargo, Citi, and Bank of America are in that order the four largest global bankers of fossil fuels, as detailed in the recently released Banking on Climate Change Fossil Fuel Finance Report 2020. JP Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Citi are on the top four fracking banks in the world and the top four fossil fuel banks in the world. This development exposes the central role of banks in fossil fuels and clearly illustrates the riskiness of fossil finance, said Jason Opeña Disterhoft. Let me read that correctly. Senior campaigner with Rainforest Action Network. As the COVID recovery goes forward, a common sense guardrail should be banks can't take public money without committing to zero out their fossil fuel financing. No bailout without fossil phase out. Well, that should be the case, shouldn't it? That should be the case. But who is actually campaigning against, who is actually representing us in Congress right now that could make sure that would happen? We've already had 3 stimulus bills passed, and not much or none of those kinds of guardrails have been put in place. So what are they talking about? This is already a done deal. And, are we going to see somebody actually fight for this kind of legislation now in the 4th stimulus? Again, the magic 8 ball says not bloody likely. We need real resistance from our leaders. We need to figure out a way to hold them accountable. I think that we should start doing so. I think that we should start, publicly ask them to take a stand on these issues, and letting them know that if they don't take a stand on these issues, if they do not hold our issues, hold fast for our issues in Congress, that they may get voted out. They may not get our votes. They may not be supported by us. Hey guys, remember to like the video. Make sure you're still subscribed, and you can support the channel at the links below: PayPal, Square, Patreon, etc.